Hi, my name is Ariana Murray and I'm 18 years old and I decided to decline a full ride D2 scholarship so I could go to a tiny liberal arts college. Even though soccer was my whole life for like ever, I decided that it was time to see what else life had to offer besides just soccer. I've been playing since I was 5 years old and I started competitively playing when I was 7. But my last year of club soccer basically kickstarted my entire future. So starting from the beginning, I have played soccer at 5 years old because my other sisters played too. So I had some people to look up to. I knew I was going to play just like them, but the hardest part was that at my age, I wasn't the size of any of my other teammates. So I learned what self-criticism was at a very young age. I was super competitive that I would train on my own, but it wasn't really real training. But once I turned 6 was when you could start playing club soccer. So I told my mom that I needed to be on the team so I could be just like my sisters. And quickly after that, I was on the team. But I was one of the worst players. But since I wasn't playing ASO and I was playing club, I needed a certain skill level to be playing on a club team. So my first coach, who I'm friends with, decided to tell me and my mom that I was not ready to play at a club level. And that was like very defeating for a 6-year-old. So my sisters found out. Obviously they ridiculed me, but they really felt bad for me at the end of the day. So my oldest sister would let me come to her practices and be like one with the team, and then my other sister would take me to her games and be like, watch me so you know what you're doing. So the next year after, I tried out again for the club team and they told me if I didn't get on the team, they would never play soccer with me again. After tryouts, I knew I was going to get on the team, which I did, especially after taking a whole year off to basically just play recreationally. And it was the first year that I felt like I could keep up with my teammates and I felt like I wasn't slowing anyone down. But after about 6 years, I felt like burned out and going to practice felt like a chore and none of my work really seemed worth it. My attitude towards soccer was horrible and it really frustrated my mom and my coach because they had no idea why I wanted to quit, but neither did I. I didn't have a reason. My mom reluctantly let me quit when I was in 8th grade, but after about 2 months, I decided that I wanted to come back. My mom told me that it was fine, but I had to ask my coach myself since I left mid-season. My coach told me it was fine, but he would never start me again. So I basically just took that as a challenge and I worked super hard. And my coach definitely kept that promise because I never started at all until one day he let me start because we didn't have enough players and it was one of my best games ever. After that season, I realized I wanted to quit because I felt like there wasn't a huge challenge for me. And my last year of club soccer was definitely a way that I am where I am now. After playing consistently for 4 more years, it was time to start planning my college decisions. I had still been playing for a club team and going to showcases, but it was all like thanks to my coach because he got me to those showcases. And with his help, I was offered 3 scholarships by the end of 2021. And it was the first time I started to get cold feet, not just with soccer, but college in general. I didn't even want to go to college at that point. I hadn't applied to any schools because I thought I would just be going to like the school that I had been given the best scholarship to. But with the attitude, my grades slipped and I was doing horrible. And my parents were very disappointed in me, and so was I. But after a while, I was offered a full ride to Dominican University, and it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. And I realized how much talent I had and that I had to go. But unfortunately, I let my anxiety get the best of me, and I decided to decommit from Dominican University. I felt disappointed, but I had the help of my parents to get me into another school that offered me an academic scholarship. I realized that no matter how much work and effort you put into something, it's not always the best option for you. Even though soccer was my whole life, I realized that there's so much more out there for me. I went from being one of the worst players to one of the best because I put in the work, but that didn't even matter because at the end of the day, what mattered was how I felt. Now I go to a tiny liberal arts college, Concordia University, where I met my closest friends, and I would never get to experience half the things I experienced at my school if I had gone to Dominican University.